Hello Sweet Blooms, we're back with yet another indie game review. This time coming from the makers of Dauntless, we've got a sweet little game called Fae Farm. Fae Farm is a Harvest Moon style farming simulator game with magic, fairies, and an adorable and beautiful world to explore. I was able to get an early review copy, so I've got all the info for you. So let's get to it and ask the question, is it worth it? As always, though I received the game for free, all opinions heard in this video are mine and are true. If you are enjoying the videos I put out, don't forget to give a like and subscribe. As usual, we read from the Steam page store to get a good look at what we've got. Escape to the magical life of your dreams in Fae Farm, a farm sim RPG for 1 to 4 players. Craft, cultivate, and decorate to grow your homestead, and use spells to explore the enchanted island of Azoria. That already sounds exciting, doesn't it? Let's take a look at more info from their About the Game section. Escape to the world of Fae Farm and create your own cozy home in the enchanted world of Azoria. As you nurture and grow your homestead, you'll get to meet charming characters, foster deeper relationships, and discover ways to infuse magic into everything you do. Customize your character, master the arts of crafting, cooking, potion making, and discover so much more. Unfold the mysteries of the island on your own or with up to 3 other players. You can invite your family and friends or visit their homestead to progress together, playing beside you or online. As the seasons change, you'll be able to unlock new areas and restore the world around you. Embark on a ship and set sail to Azoria. There's a magical world waiting for you. Create your own character and customize your adventure with unlockable styles and decorations for your farm. The cozier your home, the better your experience. The story unfolds independently from the in-game calendar, allowing you to play at your own pace. As you tend to your farm, you can care for a variety of cuddly animals where you can collect eggs, wool, and more. You can also raise baby animals in many different colors and explore the island to discover magical creatures that drop rare potion ingredients. But not all creatures are friendly. Beware the jumbles, mischievous spirits that block your path. Explore the realms of Azoria as you traverse the island with your skills and spells. Forage caves to gather resources and battle jumbles. Progress at your own pace as you uncover new mysteries and restore peace to Azoria. Azoria is home to a cast of colorful characters. As you progress through the story, you can build bonds with many islanders along the way. You can even find romance by going on dates and eventually getting married at Town Hall. You can play on your own or with up to 3 of your friends online or over local wireless. Share your progression, build a farm together where everyone's efforts count, and support each other through the quests and challenges of the world around you. Let's move on and talk about one of my favorite things with games, character creation and customization. Character customization was enjoyable. The characters themselves are pudgy little beans that have so much character to them just from the beginning. There are 4 body types, thin feminine and masculine, as well as a chunkier feminine and masculine body. The hairstyles are well styled and the facial options range from the usual things such as freckles, blush, and some more interesting options like star freckles. Colors can be changed on everything, and while they do not have a full RGB spectrum of choice, the colors are all well represented. Additionally, you can choose your pronouns, which I think is a very nice addition. Please be warned, though. If you've created a Phoenix Lab account to play multiplayer, you cannot create a name for your character. Your Phoenix Lab account will be your character name, and there's no way to undo this or to unlink accounts. Make sure you've chosen your account name well if you have even an inkling of playing multiplayer with friends. Otherwise, avoid it like the plague. Once you've gotten into the actual game, the gameplay and tutorial starts right away. There's an adorable hand-drawn cutscene complete with fairy tale-like rhyming to introduce you to the story. You're introduced to the land of Azoria and meet with the mayor, who says, well, you've got a house here if you want it. Of course, you absolutely do want it, as you're now stranded here. Your boat was destroyed by whirlpools that you find out have been appearing in the waters around town, making it very difficult to get to for anyone. You're shown to your new house and find it cozy, with ample garden space and some locked buildings. You're even given some basic beginner tools. This is where the game really opens up. The tutorial isn't direct and in your face, but the quests do lead you to each of the major mechanics you'll need for the game, such as farming, gathering, animal husbandry, and even getting your Fey wings later in the game. The story is very chill to start with up until the halfway point, where things get very interesting. How interesting? You'll just have to find out for yourself. Once you've arrived in Azoria, there are an ample amount of characters to meet. Some of them will be met later as you progress through the story, but the majority are all available right away. Not all of the characters have things to do with the story, so most end up being background or relationship system fodder. However, that doesn't mean they're not good. The town feels very lived in and the character designs are, for the most part, enjoyable and unique. You start off meeting with the mayor, Merit, an eccentric woman who works hard for the town, but seems to be a little too enthusiastic to trick people into staying. Then there is the man who gives you your first fishing rod, an energetic and old sailor whose family runs the ranch. Each of the characters are unique and distinct, if not a bit lackluster in one note. Character writing can be summed up as using tropes and not much else. The only real drawback from this wonderful game. Moving on from the characters and more into the system, this is where it gets a bit bizarre. The relationship system is separated into two: friendships and relationships. Friendship NPCs cannot be romanced, and relationship NPCs cannot be friendly to you. This is the strangest thing I've seen and has been one of the bigger drawbacks to playing the game. On top of this, the vendor characters cannot apply to either of those. Vendors are entirely separate, friendship candidates are separate, and relationship candidates are separate. Additionally, there are 15 friendship candidates, while there are only 6 relationship candidates. I wish I could say that was the only problem with the friendship relationship system, but it seems to get even odder. Friendships are encouraged by speaking with the NPCs every day. However, the same can be said for the romanceables. If you speak to a romanceable roughly 3 times, you will be considered flirting with them. There is no option to deny this, nor is there any way to avoid it. Once you have talked to them another 4 or so times, you will be marked as interested. The first date is requested through a mail, and again, there is no way to avoid this. You can choose not to attend the first date, but the quest marker will always be there. Again, there is no way to avoid romancing a character if you happen to talk to them one too many times. This doesn't interfere with romancing the characters you actually want, but it is a very strange design choice. Going on a date with a character is also just bizarre. The date cutscene proceeds as you'd expect, but you have no agency in it. The character will always talk to you as if you respond to them, but there are no dialogue options at all. I don't think I've ever noticed a dialogue option in the entire game. The player character only makes emotes at the other NPCs, and that's just about it. Having no agency in a simulation game seems very strange. And as a side note, the relationship candidates all have very low-key designs compared to the friendship candidates. I'm not sure if this was intended, but it is a bit strange. Romanceables should be more eye-catching, and none of them are compared to the friendship candidates. Sadder still, all characters have the same lines repeated often, and their personalities are all very subdued in one note. One of the only blemishes on an otherwise beautiful game. Now, let's talk about the town itself. The land of Azoria is absolutely beautiful. They definitely nailed the magical Fey aesthetic perfectly. I can't say there's an area later in the game that pushes that even further, and honestly it was a joy to finally get to. The town is easy to navigate and much smaller than one would actually think, making it far easier to get around than you'd expect. Along with this, there are unlockable waypoints that you can travel to at the click of a button. One at each corner of the map, essentially. Each inch of the map is filled with mystery, gatherables, and characters going about their day. Overall, traversing the town is as simple as can be. Now, what's next on our list? Let's discuss the gameplay. The gameplay loop is as one would expect from a farming sim. Plant and water crops, feed your animals, grab their harvestables, then go explore. There are mines to explore, critters to catch, and ample fish to fish up. Bug catching or fishing is as one would expect. Swing your bug catching net at the bug when it's close to you, get a bug. Whereas fishing has a smaller minigame to go with that isn't too complex. Cooking is acceptable as you have separate cooking stations to make food. There's a drink station, a prep station, and a basic cooking oven. Crafting stations are much the same. Put the base items in, wait a certain amount of time, and you get the end product. Very simple. One of the things that makes all of this so enjoyable is the introduction of tool skills and magic. Want to water all of your crops at once in a 3x3 area? The iron watering can does it for you. With a little bit of mana and a certain magical staff, you can harvest everything around you at once. It adds a certain depth to the game while still also enabling you to get the busy work out of the way so you can go do something fun. And despite being a farming sim, you also have a bit of combat to do. In the mines, there are creatures called jumbles. Smack them with your staff. You can even keep track of how many jumbles you've defeated by checking your almanac. Speaking of the almanac, it is such a nice addition to the game. The almanac keeps track of everything you have unlocked this far, enabling you to keep track of completionist goals in the game itself. As I said before in our section about the town, the graphics themselves are gorgeous. Given this is the same developers who made and actively work on Dauntless, the cartoony style was expected. However, what wasn't expected was the sheer depth they used to create the Fae aesthetic. The town itself is colorful and enjoyable to navigate, with many different sights to see along the way. An inn, the beach, the town square, the mountain area is purposefully menacing when you think you might be freezing. Don't forget the bouncing mushrooms you can use to easily traverse the land. And the spooky forest, it has dimmed lighting and coloring that makes it appropriately spooktastic. The later area notches this up to an 11 and really makes you feel as if you've been transported into a realm of magic, fey creatures, and beauty. Overall, the stylistic design choices in the game concerning the areas and most of the characters are on point. As usual, the last thing we've got to discuss here are the pros and cons. Let's get to it so we can finally decide if the game was worth both the wait and the purchase. Pros. Character creation and customization is nice. Hand-drawn cutscenes are beautiful and endearing. Tools are automatically swapped. Great quality of life. Combat is simple to understand. Story quests are, for the most part, easy to navigate and leads to more and more mechanics in the game. Very easy to get used to. The Almanac is an amazing addition and very helpful. Loading screen shows your current tool levels. Nice quality of life. Fishing minigame is fun. Farm animals can follow you. And Fey wings. Cons. No way to change PL account or name. Controls can be finicky to get used to. Friendship and relationship system is massively lacking and has bizarre choices associated. Character dialogue is sparse and oft repeated. Player character agency is non-existent. Finding out how to craft was rough. Tool skills need a tutorial. Combat frequently bugs so you can only hit downwards. Many bugs at the time of release. Birthdays don't seem to do anything for the NPCs. Very slow-paced game if you're not into that. Selling things can be very tedious as the items do not stack on the stalls. Well, that's it, my sweet blooms. Honestly, despite some of the major issues I had with the decision making for this game, it has been an overall enjoyable experience for me. Aside from the relationship system, the game itself was near perfect, and I spent over 20 hours playing it, and likely will spend many more. If you love games like Sunhaven, Stardew Valley, and Rune Factory, then you will absolutely enjoy this game. So what do you all think? Is this a game you'll be playing in the future, or do you know someone who will? Leave some comments down below the video because I would love to hear from you about your thoughts. If you're interested in purchasing Fae Farm, the game will be out September 8th, 2023. The game will be available on Microsoft Windows and Nintendo Switch. And as always, here's a link to the Steam store so you can purchase it. Thanks for staying until the end of the video. Your support is always appreciated, and if you'd like to further support the channel, please give the video a like and consider subscribing. This helps get the channel out there in the scary world that is the algorithm. Additionally, I stream most days of the week over on Twitch, so come check me out. link on screen now or down below in the video description. Have a wonderful day, everyone! And as always, special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon and Twitch. You all make these videos possible for me to do, and I couldn't do any of this without you.